In this episode, we talk about the 4 things you need to know before you decide to prep for travel and the most important things that you need to know. We also talk about finances and how you can afford the new lifestyle, buying a caravan, buying a car. There's 3 main ways that you can do this. We also cook a beautiful stew and yum, it's really enjoyable and you'll love it. And lastly, I come up with some tips and ideas on how to deal with those horrible shoes. And then lastly, we look at the beautiful Manum on the Murray and all the beautiful things that it has to offer as a place or a destination for you to go travel. So everyone, in this segment, I'm just going to chat to you about thinking about full-time travel and the aspects of full-time travel. I found that there's 4 different areas in full-time travel that need to be addressed, and I found these will be probably very, very helpful if you're just in the planning phase of thinking about full-time travel. I mean, the first thing that you really need to think about is where you're going to live. Are you going to live in the back of your car? Are you going to go into swag? Are you going to buy a fancy caravan? How much is your budget and that kind of stuff? So that's probably one of the biggest things, is trying to figure out how you're going to actually travel. So and budget has a really big thing to do with that, and I'm going to go through that a bit more in my finances. The second thing is your home. Like, what are you going to do with your home? Are you renting? Are you going to sell your home? Are you going to rent your home out? What are you going to do with everything that's in your home? Are you going to store it? Are you going to keep it? Are you going to sell it? And all of that sort of stuff. So that's kind of another thing. Third thing to think about is social emotional. All of those things that you have in your home, your furniture, everything like that, your memories, the things you've built up over the years. What are you going to do with it all, and how you're all going to feel? Your children will actually have some problems with it as well, and you need to talk and discuss things with your kids because they really struggle sometimes with the transitions. Pets, what are you going to do with your pets? Like, you're taking them with you, you're going to leave them behind. So all of those emotional things will all come up on moving day. Lastly, selling your stuff. We've got so much stuff. Are you going to sell it? Are you going to store it? Selling your stuff, honestly, it's huge, and it's actually probably one of the worst things I've ever had to do. Marketplace and stuff like buy and sell places, awful. I had a really rough time with it, and I'm glad that part of my life is over, but it certainly does set up a whole new lot of problems, selling your stuff or storing your stuff. So I'm going to go through a little bit of that as well. So basically, the 4 things here that you need to think about while you're preparing for travel. So I will go into these a little bit more depth, and we will try to help you along the way if you're just preparing to travel. Welcome everyone to this segment of my new format. This is discussing all things finance and the financial side of full-time travel. In today's segment, I'm just going to talk about setups and how to pay for setups. So there are 3 ways to pay for your setups, but firstly you'll need to just work out how you want to travel, because each way has a different cost, and what's right for one isn't for another. Like some people will want to just swag it. Other people are happy to have a little van and kit it out. Others want a motorhome. Others want a fancy caravan, and others are happy with a second-hand caravan or camper. So it's just a matter of deciding what you're satisfied with and how much you need. So what are the 3 ways? So there's different ways that you can afford your setup, and I'm talking about like your caravan and your car, and basically the bit that you need to eventually hit the road and live this lifestyle. So the first way is the way that I did it, and the first way was to save and sell. So the save and sell way is every ounce of money that you have that is spare, you save it, and you also just sell everything you own, including your TVs and your couches and your tables and your chairs, everything, your linen, everything you have in your house, you sell it, and with that money you put it towards getting your caravan and your car. So that's actually how I did it. I actually was able to purchase this caravan that I'm in right now outright. I fully own it. I do not have any loans on this caravan. With my car, I was able to pay over half of it, and I just got a small loan for the balance of the car. And the main reason why I did that, and I don't seriously recommend it, but the main reason why I did that was because this car came up that I've got, and it just had everything that I needed in it, and the cost was actually right. So that's why I did it, but I don't personally recommend getting loans. So that's how I did it. I sold everything and I purchased my caravan and car. The second way that you can do it is by equity. With that equity, you can use that to purchase your setup. And it would also depend on, are you going to be doing this full time, or are you going to be just doing it for a year, a lap, and then going back home? And that would really determine whether you sell your house or not, because some people just rent their house out, and with that rental income they use that also to top up their travelling money. A lot of people will save and then sell, or save and rent, and you can use that in combination. And some people will do it the hard way, and the last one is the third way, which is to get loans for everything. And although it's a great way of purchasing something, it can have some pitfalls. And obviously, as I just said, the pitfall really is you don't really have that money then to spend on your experiences and the fun things that you want to do. You have to be a little bit mindful of that payment coming up every month, and not everyone can afford that. So it can actually make having the lifestyle a little bit out of reach. Because what will happen is that trying to service that loan, you find out that all the other costs that add up, you just can no longer afford it. So I don't recommend getting loans for things. My first recommendation is, number one, like I did it, is to save and sell. And then my second recommendation is your home. You either sell your home or you use the rental income to service any loans or whatever that you do decide to get for your vehicle. But ultimately, at the end of the day, the thing that I can sort of take away from actually saving for my setup was just to actual wage, because at the end of the day, my bar was set a little bit too high, and I found that what I wanted and what I could actually afford were two very different things, and that can actually send you into a bit of a spiral of sort of sadness. You feel a bit sad because everyone else can afford the big van and everyone else has got the car, and it's the keeping up with the Joneses thing. And I think if you really think about it, it doesn't really matter what you go in. What really matters is the experiences and what you take away from it, and how it's going to help you mend your soul and just feel better in your own skin again. So it doesn't matter how you go there, that it just matters what you get from it. So try not to think about not having the things as being a failure or a letdown, because I dropped my bar right down. And to be honest, I've got this really nice caravan and I've been living in it now for 2 months, and I actually really enjoy it. I wake up in the morning and I'm like so happy because I didn't have to get like huge service loans, and the loan that I do have for the car will be more than likely paid off probably in the first 6 months of next year. So then I'll own my caravan and car. And that's why I bought secondhand, and that's why I am a thrifty person, and I totally believe in living within your means, and also just understanding that it's not the end of the world that you can't get the best straight up. You know, we live in a world where we feel like we need to get the biggest and the best straight up, and you can do stepping stone. A lot of the YouTube families who do have nice setups did start small, and I think, you know, if you look back at some of their older footage, you will see that. So if that just gives you a little bit of encouragement, and if I can give you some encouragement that I'm doing it slowly and in a little van, which I absolutely love anyway. I don't feel like I need anything more than this, but you know, I do understand why people can get kind of dragged into the needing and the wanting of the best, biggest and the best. But that's really all I wanted to sort of talk about today in today's like financial side of things. But next week I'm just going to go into a little bit more about purchasing caravans, what to look for, and the pitfalls, I guess, of purchasing brand new versus secondhand, and also give you a quick little tour of my caravan. I do have some other footage of my caravan that I've had previously, but just within the context of this new format that I'm doing. I'm going to cook you an old family favourite that we've been doing for many, many years, and all my kids absolutely love this. It's super fast, super quick, and you can just put it on your slow cooker and you don't have to think about it. Slow cookers, look, this is one thing I wouldn't compromise in my van living full-time in it. I had to have a slow cooker because I get busy, I do a lot of things, and I find that having a slow cooker, I can pop it on, I can go and do whatever it is I want to do, and I come back and my dinner's ready. So this little old family recipe just has three major ingredients, but you know, like the sauce part of it. So it has some rump steak, you have onions, so 1 onion. I think the rump steak, I'll just depend that on a family. Like I've actually got half a kilo of rump steak, and I've diced that up and popped it in, and then I've got some onions, half a large onion I actually did, or you can do one small. And then I've got, these are the three major ingredients that I put in. You have the savoury casserole base, which is a hot pot. Now these are actually really hard to get now, and I think they're slowly discontinuing them. So I'm going to have a look at some of the other slow cooker stuff and see if there's actually a substitute, and I will let you know. Then I do the roast meat gravy, and this Maggi one is kind of the best, and I really actually like this one. You can actually add a second one if you want to, and then a packet of French onion soup. When I actually put the savoury base in, it actually has this other stuff in it. It's like dehydrated potato and whatnot, so I actually sieve that, and I actually use a sieve and I sieve it into there, and I take that out. I don't actually put those in because I find them just a bit, it's just not nice. I don't actually like that part of it, but the base itself is really nice. So then I pop it all in there, and I put in 2 cups of water and pop the lid on and put it onto low, and it really sits on low for about four hours. And after 2 hours I actually stir it and I pop in some vegetables. So I'm just going to pop in some carrots and broccoli because I like to have a few veggies in. Just put in whatever veggies you want. I like those two, and that's what we eat, and that's what Toby eats, so that's what we have. So I'm going to do that now, and then it's another couple of hours and then it'll be ready. I'm also going to do some mashed potato. I always do mashed potato with mine. It tastes nice, we like it, but you can do anything with it. So I'm just going to pop that in now. So there we go, it's all finished, and we like to have ours with a bit of bread and butter as well, so a nice hearty meal to have at the end of a really busy day, and very simple to make. So enjoy, hope you like it, and I'll be back.
This is very yummy.
Oh, you got yours there, so Toby's got his, he's eating. So we'll be back next week with another recipe, something else that you can cook in your van. and I think I'm going to do some scones on the Ziggy. So stay tuned. So this is what I use. I found this in Spotlight, and it was, I believe, about $12. So it wasn't very expensive. You can get them online. Amazon actually has better ones. The other thing I really like about this is not only does it hold your shoes, it's great for all those little bits and bobs you have when you just walk in, like some letters and a few little cards and that kind of stuff, and your glasses, some spray and whatnot. So we tend to, obviously we're not a huge family, but it will be just your main shoes, you know, the things that you're just going to wear all the time. So perhaps, you know, you only have room for just all your thongs and your slides to go out to the bathroom, etc., or just outside. So it's just been one of the best things that I've done in the caravan. And I've just bought these little hooks from Bunnings, and they were only about $4 for the pair, and we have attached them there on there, and look, it just works a treat. With mine, you can see it was a point where I actually attached this with some double-sided tape, but the double-sided tape did not last. The Velcro would be a really good idea. We've used that in other areas and it's held really well, but I will purchase another one. They actually do come with eyelets, so in order to make it fit in that area, I had to do some little divvying up, but now that I've got the hooks, I don't need to do that. Excuse me, I've got a little So I hope that helps you. It's just a great little hack. You might not necessarily have the space for it there. So if you have a smaller space, let's just say the bottom part, you can always cut. And if you actually have a look, there is like a binding, you know, in between. So if you cut above the binding and put an eyelet in, you could probably do the same thing if it was just like a short, small area. But it's still just enough for 4 pairs of shoes. And if you've got little kids, you could put 2, you know, their shoes are just in one pocket here because little kids' shoes aren't as big. So it's just been a really super idea, and I've found it exceptionally useful, and because then I don't have to go scrabbling around for shoes. So I hope that helps you. It's just a quick, easy and cheap little hack that works really well in my caravan.
It's been 3 days since I've seen you, and I just can't forget, girl, gets worse. I spend all night trying to feel good, trying to forget about you. I can't forget about you. Oh, I can't explain just what you've done to me.
are down and underneath. But yeah, that swings, that turns the wheels on the outside, and the engine powers it.